hope you are all able to see the screen, which I've just started now. And yesterday we had just stopped with photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect, basically hardly you will get a question in chemistry on this. This is not a chemistry topic. Okay, so unfortunately it is there in the second topic in your 11th standard, but this is also there amongst the last topics in your 12th standard. So when we learn there, we will learn it in more in detail, and by the time we'll also be able to appreciate it and understand it. So yesterday some students were asking, will every metal have show photoelectric effect? Yes, every metal will show photoelectric effect. Provided you apply the you incident the right energy on it. Okay, so anyway, so first let me explain what is photoelectric effect, then we will see. So according to this particular thing, what happens is see, I have a chamber here. I have a chamber with low pressure. Okay, then this is the negative terminal. I have taken a metal like cesium, then I incident light on it. Okay, when I incident light on it, I see that this ammeter which is there here, it shows a deflection. The ammeter shows a deflection. Ideally, nothing should be happening. Why should nothing happen? Because you see there's a gap here. So this is not a complete circuit. Only when there is a complete circuit, current will flow. Okay, so ideally, nothing should happen. If I stop these EM rays, nothing happen. But the moment I incident EM rays, I see that this will emit, this is emitting some electrons, and those electrons are being pulled by this positive plate, and the electrons are going this side. Now, when electrons are going that side, charge particles are moving. So there is a closed circuit. Because of that closed circuit, the ammeter is showing some deflection. Okay, so the ammeter is showing some deflection. So this effect is what is known as photoelectric effect. The emission of electrons from the surface of metals due to the incident EM wave is termed as photo PHOTO ELECTRIC effect. Yeah, the emission of electrons from the surface of metals due to the incident EM wave is termed as photoelectric effect. Okay, so that is photoelectric effect. It's not a discharge tube, it is just some glass tube through which the photons can pass through without getting disturbed. Okay, it's a transparent glass tube. I removed the air a little bit so that the air also doesn't interfere with anything. Yeah, so this current in this is called as a photoelectric current. Photoelectric current. Now there are certain observations. First observation, that photocurrent starts the very instant light is incident. That means it is an instantaneous phenomenon. Phenomenon. Okay, so the moment light is hitting it, it is happening. It is an instantaneous phenomenon. 2, the photocurrent is directly proportional to the intensity of light. Intensity of light. Intensity means number of photons hitting the metal per second. One, photoelectric current starts the very instant light is incident. It is an instantaneous phenomenon. Second, the photocurrent is directly proportional to the intensity of light, that is number of photons hitting the metal per second. 3, photoelectric current is there only if the energy of the photon is above a minimum value. For all values of for all light, there is no photoelectric current. Only if the energy of the photon is above a minimum value. This minimum value is called the threshold value, referred to as the work function. Okay, photoelectric current is there only if the energy of the photon is above a minimum value. Now this minimum value, which is also called as the work function, changes from metal to metal. Different metals have different work functions. Different metals have different work functions. We have chosen cesium because it is amongst those which has the least work function. So only when the incident photon has energy above a particular value, photoelectric current is seen. If it is below a particular value, photoelectric current is not seen. Okay, I will explain better. First, you make a note of this. Threshold value and frequency are not the same. They are leading to the same. Light is not passed over the experiment. There is a plate. On the plate, light is incident. When on the plate light is incident, that plate liberates electrons. When that plate liberates electrons, the opposite plate, which is positively charged, pulls the electrons towards itself. So when it pulls the electrons towards itself, there is a closed loop. Because of that closed loop, there is a circuit closed now. Because of the circuits closed now, there is a current in the circuit. Yeah, non-metals don't give electrons. That's why they are non-metals. Those substances which give electrons are called electropositive elements. Metals are electropositive. Non-metals don't give electrons. It is very difficult to make them to give electrons. So we don't do this experiment with non-metals. We do this experiment only with metals. So this is the first slide. This is the second one. Okay. So once you make a note, I will explain again. Okay, so if you are making notes, so I'll explain again. So here there was a metal surface. So light is incident. Okay. So the moment light is incident, what happens is there is an interaction. There is an interaction between the photon, and the electron. Okay, there is an interaction between the photon and the electron. Now, the photon transfers its energy to the electron. Okay, but what Bohr said is that an electron cannot take any amount of energy. It can only take certain fixed values of energy. And if an electron has to be emitted, then it has to absorb more than a minimum amount of energy. As yesterday I explained to you, suppose the energy of an electron is minus 3.4 electron volt. Then for this electron to escape, it has to take plus 3.4 electron volt. So only if the energy of the photon is more than or equal to 3.4, the electron can take. Okay, so this is what is proved from the fact that not all radiations will give photoelectric effect. Only those beyond a particular energy will give photoelectric effect. Okay, now this minimum energy required to liberate an electron is called threshold energy. This minimum energy required is called threshold energy. Okay, and the frequency corresponding to this is called the threshold frequency. We will learn everything. Please wait. Please first listen to what I'm saying. Then you ask me doubts. Okay, first you please make notes. I'm not answering any questions now. First you make notes, then we will see. There is an interaction between the photon and the electron. The photon transfers its energy to the electron. Not all photons will transfer energy to the electron. Only those photons which have an energy beyond a particular value will be meaningful. The others are of no use to us. Okay, and I explain to you with an example. So that minimum energy required to liberate an electron is called threshold energy. Okay, it's called threshold energy. The frequency corresponding to this energy is called threshold frequency. Okay, now that energy is also referred to as the work function. That threshold energy is also referred to as the work function. Usually, yeah, it is represented as W naught. We can also say it is equal to H nu naught. This is the threshold frequency. This is the threshold frequency. Okay, so suppose I give some energy. Out of this energy, some energy is gone to overcome the pull of the nucleus. Some energy is gone to overcome the pull of the nucleus. The rest of the energy goes as kinetic energy of the electron. This is the energy of photon incident. This is the work function or threshold energy. The minimum energy required to remove an electron from the shell. Then the rest of the energy is going to become half mv square. Now this is a constant for a given metal. For a given metal, this is a constant. Now this equation has come from the law of conservation of energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So this is the incident energy. That is, how much energy are you giving? Where does that energy go? A part of it to overcome the potential energy of electron, and the rest of it becomes the new kinetic energy of the electron. Overcome the potential energy. Basically, okay, let me put it this way. Overcome the negative total energy of the electron. So in Bohr structure, we saw the electron has total negative energy. Only then it is bound to the nucleus. Now you are supplying energy to make the total energy equal to 0 or greater than 0. If it is equal to 0, this will become 0. So this will be equal to this. So when the incident wavelength or incident frequency is corresponding to threshold frequency, the kinetic energy will be 0. So the electron is just emitted from the surface. The other positive charge is there, that will pull. Okay. What is happening is you are firing you are firing photons at the target. The target is a metal surface. Now, only if the fired electron, I always write electron. I should be writing photon. So only if the fired photon has more energy than threshold energy, there will be photoelectric effect. Otherwise, there will be no photoelectric effect. Now, this is an instantaneous phenomenon. If light was a wave, then slowly an electron could have been given energy and then the electron could have escaped. Then there will be a time factor coming in. But photoelectric emission is an instantaneous phenomenon, no time factor. So one photon can have one interaction. And in that, it transfers the energy to the electron. Then what happens? A part of that energy goes towards overcoming the total energy, and the other part becomes half mv squared. Okay, now greater the intensity, greater the intensity. Greater the intensity means what? More photons. More photons means more interactions. So more electrons liberated. So more photoelectric current. If light was a wave, then when you put greater intensity, an electron could have absorbed two photons. Suppose an electron needs minus 3.4 eV. I can give two 1.7 eV and said, look, I have given you 3.4. This doesn't happen. Only if the energy of the one photon is more than 3.4, it will happen. Otherwise, it will not happen. Indicating that multiple photons cannot interact with the electron. Only one photon can interact at a time. Okay, that is why there is no time dependence. So this is where Einstein said that, look, light is behaving like a particle. Okay, this is where he said light is behaving like a particle. I am showing you the slides once again. So here is the diagram of photoelectric effect. There is an evacuated chamber in that it is not fully evacuated, but you have low gas there. Then you have a metal surface here. Mostly you choose cesium or rubidium. You can choose potassium also. But as you come up the periodic table, the energy will only increase because outer electron is now coming closer to the nucleus. So now when you incident light on it, the very instant you incident light on it, the ammeter shows a deflection. So what is happening? The cesium electrons absorb the energy. It is more than its work function. So it escapes. Once it escapes, this is a positive plate. This is the positive plate. So this is a positive plate. So positive plate attracts the electrons. Okay. So now this emission of electrons from the surface of a metal due to incident EM wave is termed as photoelectric effect. Then there are some observations here. Photocurrent starts. The instant light is incident. That means what? It is an instantaneous phenomenon. The photocurrent is directly proportional to the intensity of light. That means as the intensity increases, the number of photons is increasing is higher. More photons increasing means more light. More photons increasing means more current. If light was a wave, even with lesser energy, if intensity is increasing, more photons are increasing. So electron could have come out, but electron is not coming out. The photoelectric current is there only if the energy of the photon is above a minimum value. Okay, if you talk of energy, it is called work function. If you talk of frequency, it is called threshold frequency. If you talk of wavelength, it is called threshold wavelength. Threshold is the common thing. Now, whether you talk of energy, so when you talk of work function, by default, it is energy. So, what exactly is happening? There is an interaction between the photon and the electron. The photon transfers its energy to the electron. So, I was giving you an example. Suppose the total energy of the electron is minus 3.4 eV, if it is that much. Then if you give plus 3.4 eV, then its total energy is becoming greater than equal to 0. Now, if total energy becomes greater than equal to 0, only then the electron will be emitted. Otherwise, it won't emit it. It won't be emitted. Okay, so that minimum energy required to liberate electrons is what is called as the threshold energy, also called the work function. Then this is the fourth slide. I'm not going to show these slides again. The frequency corresponding to this energy is what is known as the threshold frequency. Frequency is written this way. If it is the threshold energy, it is equal to W naught work function. Also, you can say H nu naught. From yesterday we learned. So from there, I can say that H nu is equal to H nu naught plus half mv squared. That means total energy given, part of the energy is used up to overcome the pull of the nucleus. The rest of the energy is becoming kinetic energy. Now, that energy required to overcome the pull of the nucleus is a constant for a given metal. So, energy of, so this is the energy of the incident photon. So, I'm again telling you that the incident energy should be such that it should overcome the total energy of the electron. Now, this is as per the law of conservation of energy. According to the law of conservation of energy, you have learnt in your lower classes, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Then this is the fifth slide. What is happening? This is what is Einstein's contribution. So Einstein said, firing, photons, incident, when you throw light on it, it is like firing photons at the target. So you have a metal, you are firing at the metal. Now these photons are going to go and hit the electrons. It won't be 1:1. It won't be 1:1. That means you put one photon and one electron will come out. No. But if you throw many, one will hit. So only if the fired photon has more energy than the threshold energy, then only photoelectric effect will happen. Otherwise, photoelectric effect doesn't happen. The second important thing is that it is an instantaneous phenomenon. Okay, both these things kind of tell that look, light is not a wave. If the matter, say for example, I can give you an example. Suppose there is a nucleus here, and then there is an hydrogen electron here. Now, only if you give it minus 13.6 electron volt will it come out. Now, suppose you give it 10.4 electron volt. Then what can happen? Then it will go to the next shell. Yeah, then it can go to the next shell. Now you will say, sir, now you give 10.4. Now again, if you give 10.4, now in the next shell energy is only 3.4 eV. Yeah. So now if you give 10.4, now it is becoming more than that much. So now it will escape. This doesn't happen. Okay, this doesn't happen. Okay, so it's an instantaneous phenomenon. Only one photon, not more than one photon per electron. Then I am telling you about intensity. Greater the intensity, more the number of photons. more the number of photons, more photons will hit the electrons. More electrons hit the electrons, more electrons will be liberated. Then there will be more current. Okay. I have shown you all the slides. One minute so before slide. I showed you the fifth slide. All the slides are over. Experiment and canal ray experiment also has a similar procedure. They don't have the same procedure, similar procedure. Fourth slide, I have shown you all the slides. Electrons are not going out, then only the energy. No. Electrons go out. Electrons go out. It is not only the energy going out. When a photon with a large energy is incident on non-metals, won't they show? They will show, but we don't know such photons. See, Kavipriya, you have to understand, we are only trying to give certain theory to tell you what is happening. In redox chapter, non-metals are not losing electrons. We are only saying that is the assumed charge. Oxidation number is a hypothetical concept. It is not the actual charge on the atom, on the element. It is a approximate, it is an assumed charge on the element which will help us answer certain questions. Now I can't bring that logic and explain the questions here. It is a good experiment. I can take non-metals and I can try to incident photons on it and then see whether they will show photoelectric effect or not. They may show photoelectric effect. They will show photoelectric effect if the incident energy is very, very high. Whether you will be able to get that energy or not is the question. If you ask me, you won't be able to get it. Photoelectric effect explains the fact that light consists of particles, not waves. How does it consider? How does it explain? If light was particles, as light comes, the electrons would have captured more and more energy. Once their energy becomes more than that, they would have escaped. So photoelectric effect should have still happened, but it would be time based. It would not be an instantaneous phenomenon. The fact that it's an instantaneous phenomenon means what is hitting me is a particle. Okay, what is hitting me is a particle. It is giving me full energy. Once it gives me full energy, I am gone. I am not able to interact with another particle. Sir, if the energy of fired photon is equal to the threshold energy, yes, electrons will be emitted. They will just go out. Once they go out, then they will not be able to, they will go out. The positive plate will pull it. Sixth slide, greater the intensity. Intensity refers to the number of light rays per square centimeter or whatever. So greater the intensity, more the number of photons. More the number of photons. So now I have my atom, just like Rutherford's example of gold foil experiment bombarding. Now he is bombarding too many photons. When you bombard too many photons, there will be more interactions between photons and electrons. So more interactions means more number of photons will be able to give the electrons, give their energy to more the number of electrons. So more electrons will be liberated. So if more electrons are liberated, then the current will be more, because current is a rate of flow of charge. So more electrons means more charge. More charge means more current. Okay, so this kind of explains Planck's concept. Planck was thinking that more energy means only more frequency. No, more energy means more intensity and more frequency. Now you can send more energy by keeping intensity constant, that is by increasing frequency. EM wave can have more energy by keeping frequency constant by increasing intensity. Now if light was a wave, just by increasing intensity, photoelectric effect should have happened, because the electron would have got energy from more waves. But that is not happening. Only when you increase the frequency, it is happening. Implies that light is consisting of some particle, and that particle is giving the energy fully in one shot. Okay, so that is what is photoelectric effect. Yeah, I have showed you sixth slide. I think I have answered you adequate questions. I would just like to work with a small formula again. The formula that I told, this H nu is equal to h nu naught plus half mv squared. Okay, h nu is equal to h nu naught plus half mv squared. Okay, now this is the energy of the incident photon. If we had a wave, we would have spoken about more number of these if light was a wave. Okay, this is the threshold energy or work function. This is kinetic energy of the emitted electron, not photon, emitted electron. Okay, so this is as per the law of conservation of energy. This is as per the law of conservation of energy. Okay, this is as per the law of conservation of energy. So the law of conservation of energy says that energy cannot get destroyed. So let us now do some numericals based on all this. Both black body and photoelectric explain particle nature, because there are other experiments which will show that light is a wave. That is why based on that they came to the duality of electromagnetic radiation. There are other aspects which will show that light is a wave. In fact, Sir C.V. Raman got his Nobel Prize because of one such thing. Okay, yeah. So now let us do some questions based on this. So I will give you some questions and then we will start working. So question number 1. So we will make a note, the formulas that, okay, we will do as we go. The wavelength of green light is approximately 6,000 angstrom units. What is its frequency? What is its this we can test, these things are coming. Okay, what is its frequency? So frequency is basically what we know, lambda into c, sorry, lambda into frequency is equal to c. Yeah, so lambda is given to me 6,000 into 10 power minus 10 into frequency is equal to 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. So from here I can find out that frequency is equal to 3 into 10 power 8 divided by 6 into 10 power minus 7. So this minus 7 goes up and it becomes 0.5 into 10 power 15 hertz. That I can say is 5 into 10 power 14 hertz. HERTZ. Yeah, is this understood? Very simple question. Seventh slide, there is nothing. Okay, then next question. What is the energy associated with green light? What is the energy associated with green light? I told you it is not the whole of chapter. It is from Bohr's concept to quantum theory, whatever we have learned, including whatever we are learning right now. Okay. So before that, there are some Rutherford's model and all those things are there. That will not come. Yeah. What is the energy associated with green light? What is the energy associated with green light? Energy is equal to H into frequency, which is equal to hc by lambda. C by lambda we have already done before, and we did before, and then we got a value. What was the value we got? Okay, C value we got before, sorry, frequency 5 into 10 power 14. So H is 6.6 into 10 power minus 34 into 5 into 10 power 14. So 33 into 10 power minus 20 joules. So that is equal to 3.3 into 10 power minus 19 joules. Yeah, the constant, H is a constant. If you did not do the last step, you won't lose marks. but that is good practice to do. Okay, so 3.3 into 10 power minus 19 joules. Next question, continuation. Convert to electron volt. So how do you convert to electron volt? You take the energy in joules, you divide it by charge of an electron, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. So it will look like 3.3 into 10 power minus 19 divided by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. These two will get cancelled and approximately it will be 2.006 electron volt. So this is equal to 2.06 electron volt. Electron volt is a unit of energy. How do you convert joules to electron volt? By dividing it by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Okay. Yeah, so I hope this is understood. Yeah, both are correct. So if this is understood, we will go to the next one. These kind of questions will come in your exam. Okay, if this is understood, a 100-watt bulb emits monochromatic light of wavelength 400 nanometer. Determine the number of photons emitted per second. A 100-watt bulb emits monochromatic light of wavelength 400 nanometer. Determine the number of photons emitted per second. Yeah, it is 2.06. What did I write? $100-watt bulb emits monochromatic light of wavelength 400 nanometer. Determine the number of photons emitted per second. $100 watt is power. What is the unit of power? Power is equal to energy per second. Energy is equal to number of photons into energy of each photon. Okay, so this is rate of emission of photons. This is energy of each photon. Now, energy of each photon is equal to hc by lambda. So that is given to us. 6.6 into 10 power minus 34 into 3 into 10 power 8 divided by lambda 400. This is nanometer. So into 10 power minus 9. So I can now work on this. So this minus 9 will go up. It will become 17. So it will become 17. These two will become 10 power 15. 10 power 15. 4 will go 1.65. So 3 into 1.65. 16 into this 48. So 4.95. So it will become 4.95 into 10 power minus 15. Sorry, not 15. Minus 19. Minus 19 joules. I just calculated this. You also calculate, you'll get a number. I'm working with approximate numbers. So don't worry about it. You work with exact numbers, not an issue. The mattu, screen not visible mattu. All of you are able to type so fast. I have worked approximately. You can work exactly. So I got the energy of each photon. Now this bulb is releasing 100 watts. 100 watts means what? 100 joules per second. So 100 joules per second is equal to this one. Let it be x into this much. 4.95 into 10 power minus 19. So I take it to that side and I'll approximately get 2.1 into 10 power 21 photons per second. Approximate number. I have not done any calculations. I'm expecting you to do the calculations. It will be less than 2.1, but the 10 power 21 is fair. No, it will become 10 power 20. Because when you divide it by 5, it will become 0.21. So I hope this is clear. Okay. Yes. Okay, good. So next question. So here is another question. Work function of a given element is 3 electron volt. Light of wavelength 1000 angstrom unit is incident. What is the kinetic energy of the emitted electrons? Okay. So first, what should I do? Find the energy of incident waves. Okay. So what is the energy of the incident waves? So 6.6 into 10 power minus 34 into 1000 into 3 into 10 power 8 divided by 1000 into 10 power minus 10. Okay. So when I work with this, it becomes 6.6 into 3 into 10 power minus 19. Do you understand this? This will go up, become 18. These three will go, become 15. 34 minus 15 is minus 19. So 6.6 into 3 into 10 power minus 19 joules. So I'll divide this by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 to get it in electron volts. So these two will get cancelled. 16 will go approximately 4 times. So 4 into 3 is 12. So the energy of the incident waves is 12 electron volts. So 12 electron volts is equal to 3 electron volt plus kinetic energy. So how much will be the kinetic energy? So kinetic energy will become 12 minus 3. So that is 9 electron volt. Yeah. So this is the basis for all calculations. So we will get a lot of questions of this kind. Please make sure that you are understanding. Yeah, which means x by 1. So it is the number of photons incident per second. So they want the number of photons emitted per second. So x is the number of photons emitted per second. I didn't write the units of these. So, okay. Finally, I wrote x is equal to so many photons per second. On this side, I didn't write the units because there is no space. So here I wrote the answer finally. This is the 11th slide. This is the 12th slide. So this is the first slide. This is the second slide. This is the third slide. This is the fourth slide. Fifth slide. Sixth slide. Seven, 8, 9, 10th, 11th, 12th. Sir, is this EV very important? Yes. There is no simple trick to remember. The only way to learn them is to do more and more questions. Assignments will come your way. Do them properly. Yeah, okay, no problem. No, I'm not going to teach anything more than today. After today, I'll only be doing numericals. One assignment will come your way, work on that assignment. Bye. Your ninth slide. Tenth slide. Ninth slide. 10th slide. Yeah, I'll check. 12th slide. Okay. So done. Thank you. Same to you. You guys too have a good day. Why group 1 are more reactive? We'll see next class. Yeah. Bye. Leave meeting. Can you write answers in joules? Yeah. Depends on the question. Some questions they'll ask you in electron volt. So we need to know. Some questions they'll give in joules. It depends on the question. We'll see tomorrow. Where is my... Yeah. So de Broglie concept is there or no? No. Update videos. Actually, de Broglie will be there tomorrow. I'll teach it. It'll just take 5 minutes. Okay, I can type and search. Is it okay? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Bye.